So if you didn't already hear me say it, that web address there will give you access to the actual slide. So if you want to save it, and that way just do the step by step later, because I know we always get bombarded in workshops with all this information, and you walk out of it like, I have no idea. Like I only remember two things I just said. So that gives you access to the slideshow. And I'm also, now that I'm recording it, I'm in the process of creating a YouTube channel that I can share with people if they need to look things up, and it'll do step by step. Sometimes it'll just be a mini like how to, and then full trainings like this. You'll be able to see all those. So one of the big questions that's been coming up now that we're being told we're losing the Y drive, a lot of people are asking like, why are we doing it? And so the Google Drive, it's cloud-based storage. So if this is a way that you can store, share, back up all your data and files through the internet. Instead of doing it on a hard drive, if you need a Chromebook, and I've got them there. So you're able to store everything and then access it anywhere you have internet access. So there's no chance that you're going to lose it. So if you had your computer in, let's say, a house fire and it ruined everything, you can still access your information from any other form. Now, so you can access it from work, anywhere you have an internet connection, so you can even access your files from the phone. You just need the Google apps on there to do it. The Google Drive allows you to access your docs, your slides, your sheets, photos, forms, drawings, and emails. With regard to the Y drive, it's basically just a localized drive. So it seems like we're saving it at a location other than our actual computer, so that way if this crashes, we still have access to it. But the problem is it's only accessible within the district. So if you're at home, you have to call out sick unannounced, or last minute, I should say, and you need to access your files, and you can. A lot of times you have to resort to those emergency files that turns out to be busyware. Here, you can continue your lesson almost seamlessly just by accessing it from, like I've done it from an emergency room before. My son was being casted, and I'm sitting on the bed next to him, sending files from my phone and posting to Google Classroom, and they just kept right on going with where we were supposed to be in the lesson. So the Google Drive, that's going to be accessible anywhere in the U.S. So some of the benefits, I absolutely...
Not being funny, just the U.S.
As far as I'm understanding this, that's what Stravi told me.
Okay.
So I'll have to double check. I mean, Google's universal, so I would have to just double check that one. So just the benefits of it, is we've all become very accustomed to the hard drive, flash drives, and Y drive. You're given an offsite protection I just mentioned, so protection from local threats, power surges, you're not going to lose anything, fires, viruses. There have been schools that have had malware attacks that have wrecked all their stuff. So even if we have the Y drive over, if they're backing it up in the district office, if we get hit with malware, they're going to that's going to be completely ruined, and it costs a whole lot of money to retrieve things, and they can only retrieve up to the point of their last backup, and I don't know how often they back it up. So you're basically never going to lose anything here. With the drive, you can also share and collaborate with partners. So in the past, when we've had to do work together and we had to share it through a Word document, we have to keep passing it back and forth, and then you get confused. All right, which is the last version of this? Especially when we wrote curriculum before. We'd pass it back and forth, and then you don't really know what's the last version of it. So this, you can all be working on it at the same time. And even if you're not on there at the same exact time, I might be working on something in the morning, someone else can do it in the afternoon, and we can all see each other's work and be on the same exact page, literally. So, and that's what I just meant. You can work on it simultaneously or asynchronously. Now, you're going to start hearing our tech department talk about, and probably the district office as well, Drive file stream replacing Google Drive. And when I first heard this, I'm like, what? Are you telling me we just finished doing all this, training on Drive, and now we're getting something completely different? We're not. Basically, it's just an app that's going to be on the desktop, and that's it. So you can access Google Drive just using the web address, through the Chrome browser, through Chromebook, through phone. None of that's going to change. It's just, and actually for people that are very used to our hard drives on here, it's going to look a lot the same, and I'll show you what it looks like. So this is going to be shut down. Google Drive for Mac and PCs are going to be shut down on March 12th. We have those team drives that we can now access. A lot of times the department will do it. They cannot be edited while you're in file stream, but if you just go to their website, drive.google.com, you can edit it there. So it's just a new app to replace the existing one that's just used on Macs and PCs. I will show you what this looks like. So they started putting these on the desktops of our tech mentors. So it'll show up in the bar down at the bottom once they've installed it. And you'll see it's the same little icon. So when I open this up, it looks the same exact way that it's always looked on our computers. So I can still see everything that I had on the original computer. I can still see my Y drive there, even though that Y drive's going away. So that's eventually going to vanish. But you're accessing your Google Drive, but it just looks exactly like what we've had in the past. All right, so instead of having that app on here, that's what you're going to see. All right, so the tools that you'll be able to access just from the drive. So beyond it being a storage area, this is where you can access the creation tools within the drive. So you can create new docs, forms, slides, sheets. And then there's also other apps, which I'll show you here. All right, so here's my drive. So anytime you click on new, this will automatically come up. And down the bottom, if you hover over it, it'll say more. And all of these things up until Google site are all owned by Google. And then I can add additional apps. And at some point, I'm going to do a separate workshop just on apps. It's a little bit more advanced. And I'll show you how to get that. So if you look at this, yeah, I'm in the process of writing a workshop right now on some of the most useful apps and add-ons that you can have. But on here, I have that one. I have one of my favorite ones on here is the video notes. So if you're showing a YouTube video to a class and you want them to actually do something with it instead of just watching it and, trying to look at their phone under the desk, this will actually force them to take notes. And it'll mark it at the position that they're in or the time that they're in on the video. So instead of taking paper notes or giving some kind of feedback on, Google Doc or something, they have their version of the video, they comment on it, and then it saves it in a separate spot that can then be put in the drive or a doc. So I like that one because it allows it to be a reference point too, so they can go back, double check areas that meant something. If they need to find some kind of data from it, they can go back and find it really easily. All right, but these are your main things. Now you'll also see folder upload, file upload. That creates a new folder. And then file upload and folder upload. So we're going to look at that in a second because if you still need to back up your Y drive onto this before we lose it soon, we're going to do that through folder uploads. Right, now. All right, so this is just a screenshot of what I just did. Okay, so for uploading your files and folders from the hard drive and even in other software forms, there's ways you can do it. You can pull things off the internet. So as we go Google in the upcoming school year, we need to upload our files and folders if we don't want to lose the old work. So again, if you try to upload it on your Y drive, even if it's already there, it's going to take an exorbitant amount of time to convert that. So you probably want to upload in smaller increments. So I'll show you how we do this. Now, since you're on a Chromebook and you don't have access to your Y drive from here, you're not going to be able to do this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on New and do folder upload. Now from here, it lists everything that's on my computer. So for my Y drive, I can click that. I can actually take it all at once. I can even copy and drag it to my drive. Now, I'll do this, but then I'm going to stop it just because I've already done this, and it probably will take about 20 hours to do it all at once. So if I copy it, it's starting the upload. You'll get that message there. Because it's so large, it's going to take a minute to.
And is that all going into one file? Or
it's going to drop it.
With hundreds of pieces of...
That's a good question. It's going to create your own file. So I'm going to show you, as soon as this gives us a timing on it, I'm going to show you what it looks like because I've already done this. Yeah, it's 15 years worth of files. So actually, I should probably stop this here. Now it's saying less than 20, probably because it's registering that I've already done this. When I first tried to do this, it said it was going to take like over 20 hours. And I was hesitant to, yeah, I mean, you can do it, leave your computer running overnight, you come back, it might be partially done. But I was hesitant to leave it open. I didn't want someone to get in here, mess around on my computer, and change my stuff around. So I did it in smaller increments. So when I did this, I created new and just did it one folder at a time. So when I open up my Y drive, I would just take one of these at a time, and it'll do it in less than a minute. Now, when I first converted this, all these, they will do it in alphabetical order, but almost every one of these folders here came off of my hard drive, off my Y drive, I should say. So they put it in alphabetical order. Some of them, if it's something I had already created,
You already have them in folders, though.
well, now once I transfer those folders from the Y drive, it's going to place them just like that as they're in folder. If you have documents on the Y drive that are not in folders, then they're going to appear just as separate files, like a separate document, separate spreadsheet. But if you've already organized it, it is. When you've had this forever, it gets messy, and I can show you how to organize it. But if you already have, so let's say you've got a folder already on your Y drive or your hard drive that says like IEPs, and it's just the folder. You drag and drop that folder in the My Drive, and instead of having your separate papers, it's now going to have its own folder right there, and everything will stay organized in that folder.
I made my first one.
Did you? Congratulations. I don't have anything in folders. I have hundreds and hundreds of just.
But I haven't really been using it this year, so I'm thinking of just letting the whole Y drive down.
I was thinking that too, because there's stuff I haven't looked at in 20 years.
Yeah, it's. I had a lot of lesson plans and slideshows and things like that I couldn't lose. There was just too much, and I have that benefit that I'm not keeping track of a whole lot of paperwork for students. So, it's easier for me to keep it this way and just take full folders at a time. But if you do have those documents that aren't in folders whatsoever, it's just going to throw them all as individual
And
files.
it'll take just as long, like
Yeah.
hours and hours and hours.
So if you're going to do just a single file, you're saving one lesson plan, one test or quiz or whatever. So I have the explanation, the step-by-step in the slideshow, but I'm going to do it from here. So I would click New and just File Upload. So it's going to be that one single file. And then I just select, and I'm just going to randomly pick one. Select that. I open it, and there it is. And when you first do that, if you click on it, it's going to show you document. I can pull it up right away. But now, because I just did one file, when I look at my drive, I'm going to have to find that after my folders, it's all going to appear down the bottom. So all of your separate files are going to show up down the bottom, which mine's not doing. All right, let's try this. All right, so there we go. So all these under here they're actually the individual ones that I did. Now here, they actually did put the whole Y drive folder right there. When I first transferred them all over though, they gave me all those individual folders rather than one gargantuan folder that's just Y drive. The other option is drag and drop. So if I want to do it this way, I can actually click on it and hold down the button on the mouse as I pull it over here. I can copy it there, or let's say I want a specific folder. I would want to, here's my folders here. And I'm going to drop it in the PD folder here just so it doesn't end up in some place weird. I can drag it there, and now when I go to open this, it's there. All right, so once you play around with it, it gets a whole lot easier. I can come to anybody's room when you're converting the Y drive and switching everything over. I can come help anybody, organize it, figure out how to do it, where to put it. Because I said it before, it's very overwhelming when you do a workshop and all this is being thrown at you at once. You don't remember half of what you just heard. So you do have access to that slideshow with the step by step. You'll have access to the video that I'm recording of this now. But then I can always come in. I have prep and study hall every second block. I only have like one kid in my study hall on B days, so it's very easy for me to kind of get out during the second block. And then 4B, I don't have a class, so I can come around during fourth block on those days and help anybody with this. Now, as far as the organization goes, because mine, I am not a very organized person. There's some people that have things color coded and it's really neat and it's really organized, and I'm not that person. But if I want to create a new folder, then I'm going to start putting things in. So I can create new, and the top one where it just says folder, not upload. I'm going to click on that, and then I can name it. So let's see what I'm going to call this. I already have this folder, but I'm just going to do this Romeo. Actually, no, let's do my all-time favorite topic, Park Rec. And that's,
Why would we want to do that?
well, you've known me long enough to know how honest I'm being on that one. So there we go. So there's my folder, and let's say I now have documents that are all over the place that are kind of a mess in here. Let me try to see if I actually do have a park prep thing in here. Okay. I actually do have a couple of these. So I have my folder there. When I search it, I can do this a couple of different ways. I can drag and drop it, which is what I just did. Same thing. Click on it, hold the button down, and drag it until it's over top of there. I can, if I've got a regular mouse, I can right click on it. And it gives me all these different options on what I can do with it. So I can click on, where's it at? Add drive, where's it at? Move to. It's not showing me move to. Let me see if I open it, what it does here. Usually when you right click on it, it comes up with a feature that says move to, and you can choose your folder. For some reason, I'm not seeing that, so I'm going to have to play with that one. All right, so I've dragged and dropped. When I open this up, I can also select new, file upload, and then let's say I'm putting this in my park prep. I can open this, and I'm already in that folder, so that's where it came to. So you can just click on the existing folder, and that's when you open it up and add it in. When you click new and file, it's going to come right here. Now, if I'm just in my drive, when I add something, now I'm going to have to move it from this point. Here it is. All right, so when I click on the little dots there, giving your options on what you can do with it, you get that menu, and I click move to, and I expand that and scroll down until I find the folder that I want. So you click on it, click move, and now I can find it there. All right, so they always give you several different ways of doing any single task, so it gets confusing. So it's best just to figure out which one's easiest for you, especially as you're first getting used to it. I usually just drag and drop things, or just upload, open up the file and add them there. Those are probably the two easiest ways to do it. Now, for the very neat, organized people, I can color code these. So if I want to be able to access like my 10th grade stuff much quicker, rather than having to scan through everything and find all those lesson plans, I've already created my 10th grade folder. All right, so here's my English 10. I can open that up, and I can see all the individual documents, but
I'm afraid I have another question.
that's fine.
that they're getting rid of Google whatever, does that mean there's not gonna be Google Classroom? Because why would you have?
Oh no, they're keeping all that. The only thing that changes is sometimes people will put the app on their desktop or on their laptop, especially if it's not a Chromebook. Chromebook comes with it automatically.
Yeah.
Anything else, you got to put the app on. Now, instead of doing an app that goes on your desktop or your laptop, it'll be this file stream thing.
Oh, so you just have lesson plans that you pull out of your files and put into your.
hmm Now, let's say, all right, where's 10th grade? Where's my file? So Hiroshima novel is what I'm teaching to 10th grade right now. It's got its own separate folder. But instead of me having to scroll down through all these and see, all right, which ones are my 10th grade units, I can actually now click on that. And again, I'm going to hold down the button and then start dragging it to my English 10. So now, whenever I expand it, so there's my English 10 folder, and anytime I want to find my units, I click on that, and I'm going to find them all in there. For color coding them, he said, I've only color coded some of these just to play around with it and figure out how to do it. But let's say I want another. All right, so here's my 9th grade. I've color coded in that light blue. So I do Mango Street. You know that? Here we go. I right clicked on it, change color, and I can do it. So it now makes it easier. So if all of my 10th grade folders are yellow, 9th grade's blue, 11th grade's purple, it just makes it easier, quick sight to find things. It really, I really don't have a lot of time to sit there and play with that, but some people just have to be that organized. So it's helpful if you have the time to do it. It's definitely helpful. We have some teachers in the department that love doing that. All right. So before we look at anything else, we have like specific questions, things that you want me to go over again, or all right. So with the one other thing that I'll show you when you create it new with a tool here. With Google Docs, you can access them a bunch of ways. So if I click this here, it's going to give me an option to make it a blank document, which is what most people open, or from a template. So there's a whole lot of templates in here. In the English department, we use MLA all the time. This has made things so much easier teaching English because their MLA format is always a mess. Now it's all done for them. So you open it up. For some reason, they like to write everything in Latin. We actually tried to translate this in Google Translate, and it said something about budget, airplane, carrots. I don't know. Now mine, I've already added, and I'm going to do documents in a separate workshop, but I've added EasyBib to my add-ons. I'm not sure, since I already had it in there, I'm not sure if they automatically bring it up in the template or not. But it gives me the option to use it. So now everything's formatted for them from the template. They've got everything they need right down to the works cited, and then they can even get their works cited correct using that. But they do have a template for just about everything. I think they even have science lab report. Yeah, they've got a science lab report, playful essays. That's more of your elementary school teacher. Again, more science reports, book reports, APA for anybody that. Now, I'm not sure what other teachers do. I know when Jim Strong was here, he taught APA. Now I think most teachers are doing MLA. But if you were in grad school or your class needed APA, you can have that already set up for you.
What are they calling for in college?
APA. Unless you're an English major, we were required to do MLA. When I went to grad school, I was required to do APA. But I think English is probably the only major in undergrad that uses MLA. Yeah. So MLA is pretty much an English department thing. They've got class notes, lesson plans, letter formats, resumes. I've used this one before. Why you need a pet resume, I'm not sure. They've got some strange ones in here. But you can also create your own template, and you'll see up at the top, you've got our district templates. So I'm not sure where this one came from, why these are there. The district is able to put their own on there. So if they wanted us all to have the letterhead, they could put it there and you can access it there. For me to submit a template, I can select the document, and at this point, anyone in the district can find and use it. So it doesn't require approval. So if you have one that you think everybody can use for whatever reason, it can be submitted and then you'll find it there. All right, so the last thing that I was going to show you, and this actually came by request. Someone had been working on their PDF files. So they were able to transfer the PDF files over to Google Drive from their computer. And then they were asking me, well, can I edit this? Because everything on Google is supposed to be, easy to work with, to fill out. Like, we don't need paper. We can fill out everything online. So they asked me, how do you edit your PDF files once they're uploaded? So you can edit it digitally after they're in your Drive. You can even use PDFs with students through Google Classroom instead of printing the file. But you have to first open the PDF. So let me find one in here. And actually, while I'm pulling this up, it's going to show you something that I actually didn't go over. So when you're searching your Drive and you hang on that drop-down arrow there, you can choose which type of thing you're looking for. You can search the name of the document. Owner, most of them are going to be you, but if let's say your supervisor sent you this document that you need to access, then you can select your owner, put in a specific person, things that aren't yours. But I'm going to select PDF and then just search. So it's going to bring every PDF thing I have here. So if I wanted to use this, now I've already added the add-on, but you'll see that when you've opened it from Drive, it'll say open with, and you click on it. These are all things that I've actually added on. So where's my Doc Hub? I don't want Doc Hub. There it is, right in front of me. So Doc Hub is the one that I use for this. Now, if you don't have that already, you just go connect more apps and you search the one that you want. So when I type in Doc Hub, there it is. So you would just see one that says to add it. So I'm going to open it with that. This actually is really helpful just on a personal level. Doctors love to send forms, the new patient forms and things like that, through PDF files. And they try to do it to save you time so you don't have to sit in their office filling out these folders. So they'll email them to you, but then you can't really do anything with it if you print it. So I now can fill everything out using Doc Hub and then send it back to them, and it saves a whole lot of time. So in order to write on it, I click on my text and drop the box and just type it in. And you can change the size, you can change the font, the color, everything. Now, you can choose different tools you want to work with. I honestly haven't gotten too far into that yet. Let's select my tools. You can choose to underline, cross things out. Now you'll see that not everything's free. Every add-on that you get, usually there's a free version and then the premium one. Really, I don't think anybody needs a premium one unless you are if you're in grad school, maybe. If you're in college of any form, some of the premium, like grammar and spell checks, are definitely worth it. Now, they always ask you to sign those documents. So instead of me printing it out, I can create a signature. So typing, the text is the biggest one that I use. If I wanted to do a check mark, so they always say, check off any of these health conditions you have a history of, I can now select that, choose which one I want it to be. So if I want to do an X, and let's say here's my checkbox, I can just drop it, and I can also adjust. Oops, where's it at? Nope, let me get rid of it. If you don't like what you have there, you can also eliminate it that way. And you'll see that as I hang over it, you see that X is still there, but it's smaller now. So I changed the size of it, drop it there, and now I've checked off that box. I actually did this with a cardiologist. He's looking over my files, and he's like, you have perfect checks in all these boxes, and you did it on the email. It's just computer stuff. But the signature, I already created a signature that you'll hit create. In this case, I did draw. I haven't really played around with phone or uploading images. So if I draw it, it's kind of hard doing it on a mouse pad. I think it's a little bit easier when you're using an actual mouse. So I have terrible handwriting to begin with, but trying to do this on this, but you know what? Nobody's ever questioned my signature doing it this way.
They probably just thought you were handicapped.
Could be.
Doctor.
Save it. Seriously, they're not going to question it. They're probably looking at it saying, oh, that's great. All right, so let's say here's my signature spot. I'm going to click sign. I'm going to choose the one that I just put, and it automatically pops up in that box. So if this is my signature line, I just drop it, and there it is. All right, so that, if you decide you want to use this, I just did the step-by-step, and it's all recording right now, so you can see it. And again, if you need help, one-on-one help, you can just email me, and I'll stop by and help you. But this one, where it's worked for me in the classroom, it's saving automatically, just like it does in Google. And then when I click on that, it's showing me everything that I've ever done in Doc Hub. So now when I look at this, I'm going to click export because it won't save automatically on Google Drive. It saves it in Doc Hub. It won't save it on Google Drive. So I just click the arrow, that's a download arrow, but that also allows you to export. So I can click on Drive there and download it. And now it's going to be in my Google Drive.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So I see that you can change the destination. Does Doc Hub allow you to actually, because I run into this problem a lot when I want to upload an image onto because I use Google websites. And I'm here so I can when I connect Google Classroom to my website, which is essentially I'm using the website like I would a classroom.
Right.
That's where I post all my assignments. It's where I have, and I already have my drive with I've been using Google to do all of my assignments for the same reasons why you said, so you can access it anywhere. For I don't know, 8 or 9 years now. So I have all that, but I have a problem where I want to take and insert a doc as a PDF, and it won't let you.
So
because you can insert an image, and the reason why I do the PDF is because unless I make it accessible to everyone in the whole world, which I don't always want to do, because students don't always sign in. I run into that problem, or if I want to send a colleague of mine, but I don't want to share it with them, I just want to send them a flattened version.
So you're trying to embed it on the website?
As an image, yeah.
Right, okay.
Because there's no option to insert a PDF.
That, you could post,
You know what I mean?
yeah. Let me take a look at this. You got hours for that.
I mean, I could do I could use an app to change the file format, but
This is still trying to save. I'm going to exit out. It should show up in the drive. All right.
That's a minor thing. I mean, I did
Right.
just because you brought it up, I thought maybe that would allow me to also change the file format.
Okay. Open with. I'm just trying to play around with it and see. All right. So have you added the PDF in Google Classroom so far, and it's just on the website?
Actually, I'm totally new at Google Classroom,
Mm-hmm.
so that's why I came, because I had
Okay.
silly questions like when you go to the About page and the calendar comes up.
Mm-hmm.
I already went to the calendar app and added something that I wanted to show up, but it's not updating onto
Okay.
the Google Classroom, so I have questions on that.
Okay. And I'll work on the PDF now and see what we can do. And then I do have a separate Google Classroom
You do.
workshop that we can get in a lot more detail with it.
Cool.
I have a basic one, and I'm working on doing an advanced one right now. In the About tab, if we wanted to put a PDF file, so I don't know, we'll just call this handout. If I click on the Drive icon there and want to use this PDF file,
Oh, it is letting me.
yeah, that's what they're going to see. I haven't used the websites quite so much. I really, because everything's on Google Class, I haven't had the need to use their website. I have created them, but just as part of my training for this, I haven't really used those as much. But yeah,
And
this
I'm
is,
trying to transition from that to Classroom because it's clearly more user friendly for teachers and students. Plus, it's better at holding everyone accountable. terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Because of how it's designed. But when I learned Google, like, Docs and all the other
Mhm.
various sheets, forms, slides, they hadn't created Classroom yet.
Okay.
That's how old school I go back.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, okay, I got the Google part
Mhm.
down. I'm like, so now how do I streamline between my, expertise, whatever, of Google
Right.
Suite to the Classroom, which is totally new way.
Okay.
Brand new.
Yeah, you know what? I'll set a
You
date.
don't get brand new and say something.
I'll set a date for it. And Google Classroom,
My calendar update.
it is relatively new. I started using it the first year that it was out, and I had learned about it in a tech workshop and played around with it, but I just piloted it in an honors class, and that's it. And it took some getting used to, and it keeps evolving, but it does let you, and I'm going to remove that so the students don't think they're supposed to do something with this, but it's on there. Now, if I wanted to use it as an assignment as well, I have to coach them through that, adding .hub, so that way they know now, we've done it enough times, they know to hover over that doc, click open with, or the PDF open with, and then they choose .hub, and now they can start putting their answers in.
Right.
So that can actually go in your stream and your assignment list. So yeah, I'll take a look at the calendar and try to set the date, because I know there are a whole lot of people, like next year's the year, like we all have to be using it. So I'll work on setting that up again, because I offered it very early when I first started doing workshops, and a lot of people, I'm sure, probably need some refreshment on that one. So yeah, I'll definitely set that up.
But I will come, because that is really, I apologize for coming to this one, I just was so.
No, that's fine.
Cause like, I like, literally I have 15 years of stuff on Google.
Yeah.
I already did all the transferring from my old school, from the hard drive to, or the shared drive at our school to Google, like, so I went through all that, and it was horrible and painful, and I did it, and I was like, all right, got it. And so now I'm stuck on the Google Classroom, so.
Yeah, I definitely, because the last time I offered it, it was a while ago. So I will definitely set a date for that one.
What's the next one that's coming up? There's one in March.
Very
Is that
first
with
week of
you?
March. Yeah, that's Google Docs.
Okay, so we need to do that. Like,
Yeah.
we need to learn how to do that.
Okay, yeah, that one's set up. The one thing I forgot to mention, I did, so that if you looked at that web address on the first sheet, it gave you access to the slideshow. I do have to collect feedback as part of the training requirement, so I did put a form in there that if you're able to
Wait,
fill it
it's, okay, so I couldn't find, where do I look for that? Because I looked under Google Drive and I didn't see that
So
workshop.
because you're talking about this
What
slideshow
is-
right here.
Yeah, because you said you want us to fill out the feedback thing.
Right.
I didn't see that.
So
You had to type in that specific thing.
yeah, so if I open that up, so you would have to type it into the web browser. But if I click on this, it's now giving me a copy of my own work.
Okay.
And this is actually shared on the web, so you could probably actually search it with my name and find it.
Oh,
But when you bring that up, when I click on this form, it's a survey. And basically, I ask just for, the effectiveness, but then I also ask for any additional support that you think you're going to need before the next school year, and then just additional thoughts and questions. So it's really simple. And if anybody, needs me to just send a link to them, I can too.
I might. I'll look for it tomorrow.
Okay.
And then if I can't figure it out.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You are quite welcome.
Ooh, I have a lot of work to do.